Hi everyone. Well, I'm both happy and sad to make this video today. I'm happy because I can say that I finished this amazing book, but I'm sad to say that I finished this amazing book because I loved coloring it so much and now it's over. So I won't be able to enjoy it anymore. I'm not the kind to color a page or a book more than once, so it'll just live in my memory and on my shelf that I can look at from time to time. And I suppose I will be coloring more of the Yuri book that I have since it's the same illustrator, similar style. But for whatever reason, this book just captured my heart and I loved it. I started it 2.5 years ago when I discovered it. And just been a little bit at a time, not every month, but just have loved every page. So I'm going to start with that. Not to the beginning, that's the sample. Hold on, I marked the wrong one. Okay, so I have these page protectors on here that I'll take off, but I'm trying to leave them on as long as possible because I did the whole book in Prismacolors with a few exceptions that I'll tell you along the way, but other than that, it's just Prismacolor, and I don't even think I used any sparkles or white Posca. I can't remember, but I guess we'll find out together. So the Posca is spreading a little bit, so I put these page protectors on it to hopefully minimize that. But I'm just going to go through and let you look at each page, and I'll reminisce if I have anything specific that I remember. But yeah, this, for the most part, they're pretty straightforward. I tried to color the dog similar throughout the book. I think there are some samples at the beginning, and I just kind of emulated the dog for the whole thing. The other times, there are some pages that I did try to emulate the samples in the beginning, and I'll point out the ones that I remember. And some but most of them I just kind of did my own thing. So that is the spring. A flower blossoms for its own joy. And yes, I love spring colors, so this was a joy to do, and blue's my favorite color, so I was happy that there was some blue on both, throughout that wreath also. So yes, I'm gonna say I loved these pages a lot because there's only a couple that I don't just like love the whole thing. So yeah, so this is Mimosa Flowers, and I tried, for the most part, since the pattern of the book is there's a wreath on this side and a coordinating page over here, I tried every page I colored as I think all except one, as a double page spread. I think there's only one where there are two wreaths that aren't necessarily connected, but I tried to make the background here the same as the background on the wreath. And for a lot of them, I tried to start working in not full bokeh, but just some little circles to keep it interesting and prevent these full page backgrounds from being too boring. Some of those backgrounds are more successful than others in my opinion, but I kind of went into more detail on those in the individual, like the months when I showed you these pages in my monthly completed pages. So I won't go into all that a lot, but yeah, again, I think I wish the yellow wasn't quite this neon yellow, but it is what it is, and it's nice and springy, so I like it. Next is the Easter wreath and background with a painting of the eggs. And this is not a normal background color, and the greens were a little different than I normally use, but they just fit the Easter spring pastel color scheme, and I'm totally happy with it. I don't necessarily go for realism when I'm coloring animals or flowers, but just gradients are at least what I try to accomplish. But again, I love all the pastel spring colors, so it was another fun page to do. Okay, and then Spring Promenade, which again is more spring typical colors. There was a Chris Cheng tutorial that had like a modeled background like this for a different book, so I tried to emulate that a little bit more and kind of suggest there were flowers like these in the background, but that was a very I didn't draw flowers or anything. I just kind of tried to move some of the colors up into it a little bit. It's okay. But overall, I'm happy with it. Again, a lot of the time just like to go simple on things, so because I just want to get the page done, you know. But some pages I take more time with than others. But excuse me. Overall, I love the effects on almost all the pages, and I just love her drawings. I think it's a her. Sorry if I'm incorrect. Yeah, but again, I just love all these types of colors together. Then we get into the roses. This is one of the last ones I did, so you might even have been last month that I finished it. This background is almost the color that I wanted. In the swatches that I made, I thought it was a little more navy blue. I had found a palette that had navy blue, cream, and this mauve color with accents of like a minty sage. So that's what I tried to go with. And once I got going, I realized it's not as deep navy as I intended, but by then it was too late. And so it is fine. And by then, being the most recent one I did, I was kind of over the whole taking the time to do the little circles, the little like semi bokeh effect. But and there really wasn't enough room over here to make it much of those bokeh circles anyway. So it's solid. It's not pristine. It's not, I mean, you can still in places see the white through the paper, but I tried to start getting it solid, and it just wasn't necessarily going, and it's not necessarily a thing that bothers me often, so I just decided I was done. But yeah, I just, I love the way the colors work together, and again, I just love these types of colors, so there you go. That's the roses page. And we have more spring flowers and bunnies. Again, a lot of more of my those favorite purples and blues and pinks that I love. So again, like I said, it was a lot of fun coloring these pages. And I think I might have cheated on the white bunny and only done just a little bit of gray shading, but maybe there's some white in there. I don't know, but I probably cheated a lot and didn't color white over all of that. But I just love her drawings. They make me happy. So, and we've got the Japanese buttercup. Again, the yellow looks brighter than I intended at the beginning. And oh gosh, I just realized just now that all these little stamens, I don't think that's the right word, but I didn't finish those. So I guess I will be, maybe I'm not officially done. I'm claiming it still, and I might fix those later. But yeah, that's just fun with the racing horses and the animals riding them, and super cute. Just love it. Just love it in general. Then this is the first page we've come to that had anything other than polychromos. I had got some new watercolors that I wanted to try. So I did, and I had the intention of doing more like boards, like a wooden wall here, but I don't love the crinkly feel of the paper after the water goes in it. And I don't love coloring on that, and I just decided that's just going to be my little abstract idea of the wall there. So would I do it again? Probably not, but it's fine. I got to experiment with my new, to me at the time, watercolors, and I think I was just in the mood to get it done, because I can even tell like the texture. There's still a lot of texture left in the wood that I probably would have gone back over and fine-tuned a little bit, so to speak, but I just, again, more colors that I love. So yep. And then we have the Nordic Summer Solstice Festival. just more of the same, lots of bright purpley colors and or red violet, I guess. Every time I just look at the pages, they just make me happy. So like I said, I don't think there's any page, any spread in this book that I actively don't like. There's always things about them that you wish you could have done better, but overall, every time I look through this book, I'm satisfied. So I think that's all you can ask. So not really much else to say there that I can think of. And then this one was definitely I wanted to copy, because when I looked through these sample pages, they have at the beginning of her art. I just fell in love with this spread with all these colors together, and it was definitely more of a watercolory feel on them. So I wanted to experiment with that. So I bought some Albrecht Dürer pencils specifically to finish these pages. So maybe I'll put probably what I'll do is I'll put the sample up for this page. I'll put the sample here while I'm talking, but I think I got decently close. I didn't do everything exactly the same, but I tried to get it as close as I could get it with the colors that I had, and they're not exactly the same, but overall I get the same feeling from it. And again, it just makes me happy. I would never have thought on my own of putting those colors together and mixing them the way that she did, but I just love them. So like I said, it's not exactly the same, so now I'll look at this page and put the sample up over here so you can see the difference. And I'm talking about it without looking at it. I think the bottle is probably different, and again, it's not exactly the same. There's something about the flag. Let me look real quick so I can remember while I'm talking about it. Well, it's pretty similar. Oh, I think her sample had blue up here in the knots that I didn't do. And it's not quite exactly the same blue, but it's pretty close. And I did blue here instead of the green and yellow. But other than that, like I said, again, it's as close as I could get it with the colors that I had and the medium that I was using, since, I wasn't using watercolors. It's not exactly the same, but I am very happy with it. And I try, because it's not a background like that other page, the paper didn't get as wrinkly. So that odd sound that kind of sets me on edge when I handle that paper, it didn't really affect it here because I use so much less water overall. But so yes, I love these pages still. One of my favorites. Now we're into Summer Herbs, and this, I believe, the last page that I did. I don't even think I've put these pages in my completed pages video, because I think this is the last one I did. So it's fresh in my mind. And again, this is one where I tried to emulate the sample at the beginning, mostly because I was in that home stretch and I just wanted to get done and not think about it. And her samples are just amazing. So it just seemed so much easier to follow the example than to come up with the colors all on my own. So, but I'm very happy with it. Like I said, they're not exactly the same. I'll put the samples up here somewhere. Maybe you've seen them already. I think mine's a little darker blue, and the shades are a little different, but overall I tried to emulate that as much as possible. I think I did the apron and maybe her dress a different color. Hold on. Oh, nope, the apron's blue. Well, nope, they're similar. They're not exactly the same, but they're similar. I did blue here instead of the green, and she did the bottle all red, and I didn't want that much red in it, so I did change a couple of things. But again, just summer seemed appropriate, even though the lavender is not blooming here anymore. But yeah, I just love her drawings. Now, summer vegetables. I love this page too. I love the way the background on this turned out. It's not exactly what I was picturing when I started out, but it turned out better than I imagined, so that's always fun. I don't love coloring food because I feel pressure to try to get it in real life colors, so it always takes me longer to pick colors for things that are supposed to be real. I mean, it's not like I colored them to be realistic, but I try to pick the colors that would really would happen in real life, and so I always feel more pressure with that kind of thing, but overall it feels very summery to me, and those yellows and oranges in the background really set off the peppers and the darker colors of the vegetables. So I love this page. I see spots here and there where, you know, before I started using the page protectors, colors bled through because I didn't have protective sheets in the middle, and I'm not sure I'll be able to fix those because then I'd have to color over again, and I don't remember what color. For instance, it's probably a warm French gray, but or warm gray or French gray in there, but I don't remember. So I think I'm just gonna have to live with those. There's been a few so far. I think that's just going to have to be a work product and part of the journey of coloring this book. So yeah, lots of fun. And then this is another page that I loved, a Chilean Evening Primrose. Again, now that I remember, oh, like, see, I did use a little teeny bit of sparkle there. I did set out to make a darker, like a navy blue for whatever reason, and that did not turn out that way. And but I'm fine with it. If it was darker, I probably would have made these white, the Chilean Evening Primroses, stand out even better. But once I get to a certain stage of doneness, you've heard me say before, if you've seen my videos, I get to a certain stage of doneness, and it's just, I'm done. I'm ready to do other things. So I will finish, but not necessarily fine tune like I could. But every once in a while, I'll be dialed in enough that I want to spend all that extra time. But I'm learning, even as far as artists go, that I'm liking the Impressionists more and more for the same reason as it's more of an idea and not the detailed realism that I care about. So getting the colors down is more important to me than making sure, like, see, that's like a scratch in the page that didn't pick up the pencil in the same way, and it's uneven, but you know what, I don't care. It's blue. It's a circus. They're having fun. That's all I care about. Okay, now we're into autumn, one of my favorite seasons. And so we get into, I love the rusts and the reds and the oranges and the red browns and things. So I love the fall pages. But even then I wanted the green background because they're still green at the beginning of fall. And so, yeah. Not a lot to say. No season is more highly anticipated than autumn is the caption, and I think that's absolutely true, especially for me here because it gets so hot and I'm like, okay, I'm ready for it to cool down, and so I anticipate it'll be November before I probably want to wear actual shoes, but we'll see how it goes. Then we have the cosmos, these lovely pink flowers, and I think there might have been a sample of part of this that the cosmos weren't colored these colors, but when I look at pictures of cosmos flowers, it's always these colors, so that's what I did. And the teal and the lime green against all those magenta and hot pink flowers, I just love that, so I think that works really well. So yeah, again, I just love the creativity of the way she puts things together. And the magnifying glass and the stars and the pollen, and yeah, lots of fun. A few more sparkles I've noticed now here and there. I did notice that I must have colored the background first because when I tried to do the paper, there must have been like dust from the blue that smeared once I did it, and it's like, well, I guess we're gonna have blue paper. That's a thing that I can't get past, that happens a lot. So now I've learned when I really, really want to pay attention and not have that happen, I have to pay attention to the whole page first and make sure I do any light colors first to avoid that. Probably could dust it out of the way, but I'm usually sitting on my couch watching TV with my husband, and it's like, well, I have to get up and go all the way to the back of the house to get the little brush, but it's minor. Blue paper is okay. But I would love to be laying on a blanket with a cup of hot chocolate or tea, reading a book, taking a snooze. That sounds great right now. But it's not happening here because it is too hot. And then this one is another favorite of mine. This is where there's two wreaths that they're not necessarily going together, but they're fall. So I did try to coordinate colors a little bit. I mean, that's easier because it's fall and those colors just kind of go together, but you know, like some of the reds are similar. I didn't put any teals over here like here, but where I could, like these kind of orangey things, I tried to pay attention and use things that were similar. But these leaves are all kind of I have a palette I use for fall leaves a lot that like do this little patchwork leaves. That's one of my favorite ways to do it, just to make sure that leaves have variety. It's not realistic, but again, it's the impression of it. And coloring pastries is hard again because it's food and you never know. And I remember coloring this one thinking, what is this on top? And I couldn't decide. So I made them really finely sliced apples. That's why the green, you know, that's the little apple peel. I think somebody else did it as, I've seen it mostly as like whipped cream or something like that. But we had that here and it didn't quite look the same. And so it probably was some kind of frosting. But we had frosting on so many other things that I'm sticking with my apple slices because I am. Just to be different. But yeah, I love them. I love fall and I can't wait. I buy the clay earrings and I have so many fall earrings that I have to, you know, and I love so many of them. I wish I could wear them more than once, but I think I have enough to go a whole month and wear a different one every day. So I probably need to rein it in, but the girl I buy them from is having another drop in a week and I have my eye on a pair. But it's a ghost with a little paintbrush and palette and it's adorable. So it's got to be coming home with me, I believe. Again, fall colors that are just, they're just so cozy to me. So I definitely treated this as a double page spread because she's got the same outfit, the same leaf with 3 berries. So I did these at the same time. Most of these I did both sides at the same time, just because of that. But yeah, it was so to me clearly the same elements that I definitely tried to, the yellow flowers and the purple flowers and the teal flowers and whatever this is that a chestnut? I'm not sure, but and then these things and these leaves, and so that was helpful. It helps get things, when you can coordinate like that, it definitely makes it easier to finish a page. Takes some guesswork and planning out of your hands and makes it easier in my head anyway. So yeah, just yummy. I might have to do a fall page ahead of time. So now we're into winter, and I'm not sure why winter is sewing, but maybe now you're in the house more and you're doing inside things, maybe, I'm not sure, but yeah, so that was fun. That magenta pink, I think, is a kind of a recurring thing in here too, but with the various purples and the various greens. Again, I'm a fan of the way they move together. I mean, these are ornamental cabbage, so when I look up pictures, that's the color they were. So that was not made up in my head, but all the other colors came from that design choice. So yeah, not a lot to say about that one. But look, there's my hot chocolate with my marshmallows in it. That's definitely something that I would do. And I have noticed that not every page I did a background on because they just didn't warrant it or I wasn't in the mood. So that's okay. I think you're allowed to have different patterns. And then these were two that were definitely not together. And knowing that, I think I did this one first, but I knew that this one was going to be full of bright colors because it was toys and things and the stage, and I knew it was going to be a little more elaborate. I wanted to go mostly neutral over here. And you guys, I think I might have said this during the month-end video when I shared this page. It was so hard not to put any red in this page because it's Christmas and Christmas is red and green, but I exercise, even the candy cane is green and white. So I was very happy with the way that turned out, and it was a lesson to me that even neutral colors can be festive. And so I love the contrast between all the bright deep colors over here and the neutral colors over here. I love the way that this spread turned out. So yeah, but this one's my favorite just because it was such a challenge for me, but I do love it. So I might have to do another page like that. I did a Christmas in July page this year. Oh, I got a little offset. A Christmas in July page this year, and I might have to do a Christmas in August. I just finished another page this morning, so I might have to look at my books and do a Christmas in August page. But yeah, love both of those two. But this one's definitely my favorite of those two. And then we have these two. And this was actually the very first picture I did in the whole book because it was winter, or it was January of 2024 when I started. And so it was gray outside and there was definitely birds out there looking for berries and things. So this is the one that spoke to me. So this is kind of where I started that. Trying to do the bokeh effects because there's so much empty space in here that it felt, it needed to not be a solid background. But yeah, so I love these. I think looking back, if I remember, I think this is probably supposed to be a red cardinal. I don't know where I got that color scheme. I probably looked at a tutorial or something, or found a picture of a bird that looked something like this. So that's why I chose to do it that way. But I think most other pictures I've seen of this, mostly those are red, but I had to have had a model of this of some kind. So, but yeah, I just love this scene. I love all the pops of the red and orangey red together to break up the winter feel. Yeah, so that was this is the page, like I said, that started my love of this book. Yep. So, and then there's this one, a love letter. It's also very fun. I think this is the only one where I was going to try to do a dark bokeh background, but then I think I ended up with too many shades, and I should have committed more to the dark, because especially I think in the video or in the pictures, it looks so splotchy. It looks much splotchier in a picture or a video than it does to my eye. So I wish I would have had the fortitude to go back through it again and make the rest of it darker, because like the flowers are so light, I really wanted something dark for them to pop up again, to pop up against. But I wish I would have done more, but by then I was, like I said, it looks better to my eye than it does on screen, so I was ready to stop. And then I think when I posted it, I'm like, oh, that doesn't look as good as I thought. But overall, I like it. These are hellebores. What I read is I could probably grow them in my backyard, but I'm scared to do that. But I still might try it because I love them, because they're winter flowers, and there's not very many winter flowers. So, yeah, I like them. And then these are the last two pages, right? Yeah, the 4 seasons. And they're not really a double page spread, but I kind of treated them a little bit like that, where like I made the background colors match, and I did them at the same time. So the only thing that bugs me about this page is spring starts here on both pages, but then summer goes here and here, so they're going, not only one's going clockwise and one's going counterclockwise. Well, I mean, I guess that's basically it. If they were both going the same, it would have done this, or it would have done this. But because one's going one way, it's going like this, and it played with my brain quite a lot. It's like, could we not have spring, summer, winter, or spring, summer, fall, winter, and then it would have both gone like this. But I get this. I mean, the branch with the bird, that could have been up there, and that could have been down there. I don't know, but I guess it makes sense for him to be sleeping above her head. But the thing that fascinated me that I didn't know, because this is one of the later ones that I did just in the last few months, and all this whole time, even after seeing the example of this page, it did not dawn on me that this was the apple tree going through all the seasons. I just thought it was random pictures, but from the blossoms to the green apples to them turning red and then starting to rot for the birds and then him sleeping. I don't know why I didn't pick that up. I just thought it was random pictures, but once I started coloring it and seeing the progression, it's like, oh. And this again was a page that I tried to emulate very much the pattern at the beginning, because there was a whole page sample. So I think the only things I changed on here were the color of the butterfly and the color of her outfit, her mittens, and the pan. I think everything else is pretty much the same. I changed a few things on here, but I tried to use some color samples from the original, but so that's a mixture of copying the sample and doing my own thing. I think it works fine for it being a mix match of seasons, and so the colors don't necessarily go with each other, but it does show the progression of the seasons. So if you look at each section, it makes sense. When I look at it as a whole, it's like the colors don't necessarily go together, but that's okay. Overall, I can say that I have loved doing every page, and I wish there was another one, but I will do some wild mouse Yorori ones and maybe get my little fix. But thanks for hanging out with me for a few minutes, and I will see you in the next video or around Instagram. See you later.